Well, welcome to Stencils and Such. Now, today we have basket weave and gingham. Now, if you are looking very perplexed, so am I, because that does not look like a basket weave, and that certainly doesn't look like gingham, but that's what we're here to find out. In fact, this is one of the projects using the basket weave, so we are here to find out how do you do that, and that's one of the fun things about this webisode. So won't you please come play with us? Okay, well, as I said, we have the two stencils. Well, Hunky Dory calls these masks, and that's what they do in other countries. Of course, in the U.S., we call it something else. We call it a stencil, but it's the same thing. It's a piece of plastic that has a design out of it, and these are fun. They call these ink and twist, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing. But let's start with what Lene has done. And right with the season, she has made this card. We'll get in closer to see. And this is looking very pumpkinish. And what she has done, well, as a matter of fact, let me just show you. So we're going to take our card. This is our regular 5 by 6.5 inch card. And I'm going to bring our craft mat out because you really do want to always be working on a craft mat. And I'm going to use my low-tack tape just to secure this down so I'm not chasing it, and I'll get it in place here. And then I'm going to put this. Now what Lene has done is she's left the top part of her card available to take the paper, so you could certainly stencil it, but I'm going to follow her directions and not. So I'm just going to put it right here. And we're going to start with the stencil going up and down, and we're going to end up turning it. So I'm going to, again, place my low-tack tape. Now, you could use washi tape, but as Sarah has told me, she really likes to have her washi tape being used for decorative purposes, not for securing things together, so it's your choice. Now, I'm using cocoa bean ink pad and my blending brush, and I'm just going to, and I'm not going to do this the whole way, I'm just going to do a few rows just so you get the idea. And so I'm just going to go like this over the area and bring this together, and you'll get the idea. Then we're going to move it and turn it. And you'll want to probably get the same, maybe the same tone in all of it. I think I'm probably getting it a little heavier in some areas, so we'll just see what that looks like. So I'm doing, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to go any further down, okay? But I do want to make sure that I am covering that top row. And because I know I'm going to be putting paper over that top row, I'll just do it this way. I do love blending brushes. I think they just were a very smart idea by someone. I wish I could tell you who came up with them. I do know, of course, that they were used in the makeup area first. Okay, so I'm going to, you do always want to keep one side attached so that you can lift it and make sure that you did get the coverage you wanted, and I did. So then I'm going to lift this and turn it 90 degrees and go like this. Now what that's going to do is get me the weave in the areas that were not covered. Clever, these folks in England. And I will shift my tape and then do the same thing. And you'll notice that we're covering up what we first did. And now, and I'm using the same ink pad and just doing the same thing. How exciting, huh? But this is a great way to start because it gives you, okay, how much pressure do you need to use? You know, just what this feels like. And that's all good practice, especially if you're new to doing this. And, you know, you're hesitant because you don't want to blow it. So, so this works well. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lift it. Look, how neato. It worked perfectly. Now, I'm going to move this and let's glue this. Okay, now mine's a little bit darker than Lene's, which is perfectly fine. And I'm going to lift this. Now, what do I do about the ink that's on my stencil? Well, I can do two things. I can take a baby wipe, which I happen to have a huge container of right at my fingertips. I can just rub it off, just like that. Ta-da! I would want to do the exact same thing with my blending brush. And the other thing I could do is I could put my stencil in a basin of water. Now, I'm not going to do that, but I certainly could. So, okay, I'm going to toss this, and I'm going to make sure my lid is on my package. Now, as I said, Lene used the plaid, and this is coming from Plaids and Pumpkins. This is 12 by 12 patterned cardstock. And there are many plaids, as you can probably see in this package, true to the title. And this is the plaid that she used at the top. No, it was a different plaid. Well, there are lots of plaids in here, and you can use a lot of them, she says, to cover up her error. And she did use the copper border dazzles. You can see the strip right there. And this is a piece out of the paper. And then this is also a cutout that's out of that same package. These are the orange ribbons, and then these are the copper jewel dazzles that are on the corner. So all of that coordinates, and a nice way to use the stencil. So that worked nicely. Okay, so and that was the cocoa bean. So way to go. Now, when you get a difference in the colors, one of the things that will happen is probably the ink pad that I used was juicier, it was newer. Maybe the one that she used was older. So that's going to happen too. So don't worry about it. I also noticed that she used the blender brush on the edges of her card. So I just wanted to point that out to you too. Okay, so that's another thing that you can do. Now let's go to our next card. And this one is by Debbie, very much a Thanksgiving card, as you can tell. And Debbie has done something different. So whereas Lene used one color, Debbie has used actually 3 colors and something more. Can you see the sparkle in this area? I hope you can see it. Okay, so she's got multiple colors, and let me show you what they are. They are warm honey, and I know that's hard to read, mustard, and gingerbread. That's interesting. And she used a brand new product that we are actually waiting for it to arrive, and it is called Glitter Gold, and it is a paste. Now, we used to get these from another company, Creative Expressions, who is kind of not around or is resurfacing under another brand. And it is a glitter paste. Wow, that is a glitter paste. Okay, now the way that this was done, and I have a piece of cardstock here. So this was totally done with paper, with stenciling, although I do have to say on the edge there is some paper. So I'm going to put my low-tack tape on the edges. And see, let me make this so that it looks square to you. And I'm going to do the same thing with my stencil. I'm going to put it right in the middle and put my low-tack tape, same thing. I don't want anything moving, right? I just want to make it stay. Now, this is a little bit different in that she is using a blending tool. Now, the blending tool is this. So, blending brush, blending tool, okay? Blending brush has the brush, obviously, and the blending tool is a round piece. These are removable. They're held on by Velcro, and you can clean them, and they'll go like this. Okay, so this is a flat surface that is a brush. It's going to curve in. So what she did is that she did this in even layers. So she's going to start at the top and ink with warm honey for about 2 inches. Now, I'm trying to see if I can do this. If I can make this any easier for you. I think that what she did, she actually, okay, well, we'll just do it. Okay, so she's going to start with warm honey. And she did this for 2 inches. Now, 2 inches is going to be about 4 of these rows. And like I said, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm not going to go over the whole row. How's that? Because I want to be aware of your time. And I know, you know, once you see this, you kind of get it. Okay. All right. So there's 4 rows. And when I lift it, you can see. Okay, you got it? Then she's going to 4 rows. And then the next section is going to be mustard. So I'm going to change my little pad and go into mustard with another one. Okay. And mustard is going to go for the same area, about 4. Now this is going to be, it's a yellow, but it's darker yellow. Okay, and I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't take long. Okay, then I'm going to leave that in place. Okay. There you go. And in the next section with gingerbread ink, and I'm blending it over the last section. Okay. Then it tells me to wash the stencil. So you're seeing it's kind of going light to dark, obviously. Okay, let me, then I see that's why you don't take it off. You make sure that you've done what you wanted to do. And as a matter of fact, aha. Well, actually, this is going to be shorter, so I'm okay. So you've got this light to dark. Then you're going to turn it and do the same thing again. So I'm not going to remove it. Let's see. Let me get that puppy off. Okay. Then I'm going to turn this and do the same thing again. Right? Yes. That was pretty fast to do. Would you not agree? Yes. Are you shaking your head yes? Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom one first. Well, actually, you wouldn't want to do the bottom one first. You would want to go and do, because you want to mix these. Ah, that's the trick. Okay. Because, yeah, and actually in the middle, it's going to be, this is where you're going to use the paste, is in the middle. Okay. Aha, because you want to mix them. So I have that at the top. So I'm not going to turn it. I am going to, bear with me just a moment, please. Rotate the stencil 90 degrees to ink the stencils in 3, again, starting with warm, then mustard, then gingerbread. Well, that's interesting. Well, I think I'm going to try something. Let's see what happens here. If I do, whoops, exactly what said, but in reverse. So I'm doing mustard up here, I'm doing gingerbread up here. For 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then to remove this, I'm going to go to mustard. Then, why, it's fast. Are you impressed? I'm impressed. It's very fast. And then our warm honey. Now that glitter paste that goes in the middle, it's just going to go on top of the colors that we've used, so don't worry about it. I'm going to put that on the edge. Stay. Actually, I put it over here. And I'm just going to do a tiny bit of that glitter paste. Let's see what this is doing. Aha! There we go. You're still getting your variety of colors. Okay. Now the glitter paste. And I'm going to use my palette knife for that. Ooh, very smooth. You see that? And that's just going to go over just that center area. It's just 2 rows. So pick your 2 rows. And again, I'm just going to go over the middle of it. And you do want to hear that scraping, because that means that it is going in and it's not making too many, leaving. What the scraping means is that you are scraping the stencil so that you are getting the product into the empty areas, which is exactly what you want to do. And you do want to put the lid back on. So, voila. I'm going to drop this in my pail of water so that it can get wet. So there we have our glitter. And I've not used this before because it's brand new. Like I said, these are the samples that Hunky Dory sent us. And there are 4 colors. And how pretty that is. How pretty that is. So you can play around with your colors. And like I said, this is mustard, honey, warm honey, and gingerbread. And I am also going to drop these into my pail of water, my pan of water, because they will also clean up, because I've used them multiple times, and that works perfectly. Okay, now I do want to tell you how she got that absolutely darling turkey in there. And that comes from a cutting die that's called Turkey Time. And you can see there he is. And what's kind of neat about this is that this is designed so that there are slits, and so that these extra turkey feathers will actually slip underneath this piece. Okay, and so that's how you can get a really nice finished look for this little turkey. And you've got some greenery, some leaves that fall out. And then she also put some cardstock here, and they're in this directions. And then these are our yellow fancy border dazzles. And don't they look pretty on the edges here? And then that very bold Happy Thanksgiving. We have a set of dazzles that are called Happy Every Day. There are 10 sheets in here, and they have happy, 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 happy up at the top. St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day, Easter, New Year, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Independence Day, and then it's repeated with all of these little icons. And Happy Thanksgiving is one of the days that you can have. So she's put that on some solid color cardstock and put it at the top. So that's a fun way to put together for this particular project. Now I'm going to clean this up and we'll come back for the other stencils. Okay, here is our next card. This is done with the Gingham, which the stencil does not look like Gingham, I know. But this is the card that Lene has done. And you can see the gingham that she's done on the green. And surprisingly, this was done on a blue paper. So that's interesting. So we're really focusing on this piece. I'll talk about all the other pieces as we get this finished, okay? So hold your questions right now. And I've placed this. This is on a light blue paper. The paper comes from this. This is called Christmas Cardinals. It's a brand new paper. And you can kind of see the paper here. It's just a really light image of the snowflakes. So let me place it here. And so I've got the paper held down with low-tack tape onto my craft mat. Same deal. And I'm using khaki, which is a green. And I'm using the blending tool. So I'm just going to go over this. And then I will come back and turn my stencil 90 degrees. And this is going to be the same thing. It's going to depend on how juicy your ink pad is with how much color you're going to get on. This is an ink pad that's used a lot around here, so it's not terribly juicy. So I'm just going to, as I do very often, I'm just going to do half of that paper, and I'm going to lift this just to let you see that you can see the green on that light blue. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, just like that, and position it, and just go over it again. And with gingham, you have light areas in between. So you've got dark areas and light areas. And that's what will be happening here. And Lene tore the edges of this. And so that's perfectly fine. Okay, now let me lift this. Okay, so you're going to get, which is really kind of neat because you have no effort put into it to make it happen. But you see how the areas got darker where you had ink going on top of ink. So that creates the gingham look. And I think it's just really neat because it's just strips. And I think that worked really, really well. Okay, I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm going to clean this with the baby wipe because I want to use it again right away with the next card. So I'm just going to wipe this clean with my baby wipe. If this was the last card of the day, I would be doing it with, I would be putting it into the bath of water. But since I'm going to be using it in a moment, now to tear it, it's just what you think it is. You simply, so it just looks like that. So you're seeing the light blue behind it. And I think if you were to do it on a darker blue, it wouldn't be quite as effective. And to tear it, what she did is there's just not much of the white edge showing of the paper. So you'll just want to tear it down, going down. Because if you were to tear it pulling the paper up, you would get more of a white edge. And I don't think you want that on this particular project. So you'll tear it, having the paper go away from you. And it will make more sense as I bring it over here. There you go. So you see the difference between this edge and that edge, pulling it away from me and pulling it toward me. Okay, so there it is. Now, if you wanted to get more green in there, you could also add more green. Now, what Lene did is this piece comes from that same paper, and it is right here. In fact, you can see it right here. So there's that very muted color, ignoring this piece because she put this chipboard Santa on top, and she just lightly colored it with markers, and then she put these really pretty flowers on top. Now these are in the listing. However, there are only 11 packages left. I went and counted them, so I just want you to know if this is something that really you love, there are only 11 packages left. So grab it if you like it. And then the Season's Greetings, and isn't that pretty? This is called Christmas Greetings Red, and you can see it's got lots of different sayings on it, and it's right up there. Very fine writing on it. And then she used a darker, as you can see, snowflakes for her background on her card, and the green right there. It really pops all the colors. So that is what this card is about. And wait till you see what I have for our next card, because this is really different. Okay, I want to get this green into the bath so it can be soaking. And let me show you this card. So talk about, see, here we go. Let me get it right side up. This is a very different look from this, isn't it? There's a lot going on. Same stencil. So what Debbie has done is she's done two different types of using the stencil. So let me just show you the first one, because that's probably the simplest. So she took a black piece of paper and put the stencil down, and she used the silver ink pad and just used it into the stencil, just as you might think. And I thought it was pretty striking. And I think that you could really use that a lot of places. I'm thinking of anything masculine, and I'm wondering if you could just do it direct to paper. Let's find out. I'm just going to do a little swipe. Well, probably not. Okay, I'll do the blending brush. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's going to give you just a beautiful look. Now, I'm not doing, as you know, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I think that's just going to be quite striking. And there you go. Now, she did take our corner rounder and did the edges. So does a nice job. And she kind of matted her card on it, which I thought was a pretty neat idea. Well, it's actually becomes her card. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So that's neat. Now let me do my baby wipe on this, because she did something else. In fact, she's done, I just want to wipe that off. Okay, and I want to get it off of my blending brush too. Okay, So that's just one color. So you can use it not as a gingham, but as just a stripe. So that's good, even though I made fun of it at the beginning. So that's good. Now, to do this stripe, and this is what it looks like without anything on it. Okay, so you've got white paper and our infamous tape. And then this is going to go down. And the colors that she used were letterbox red and concrete. And she did the red first. And with the red, let's see, let me get my stencil tape down so it doesn't go walking on me. Okay. And, oops, she wants the stripes going horizontally. Excuse me. Excuse me while I make this adjustment. Okay. And she wants it to link with letterbox red first. Oh, she wanted a blending tool. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, now I'm set. Okay, a letterbox red. I've got my tool, and we're going to do the red and go right across. Now again, you know, same deal. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Now, she wants me to wash my stencil, but I don't want to do that, so I'm going to do it with the baby wipes. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pull this off. Well, first I'm going to show you. And there we go. You see my rows, that worked fine. I'm going to rotate, well, no, I'm going to do it with the baby wipes. Okay. And I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. That looks pretty neat, doesn't it? And I'm going to place that down there and there. I'm going to put this in my water bath and take another one and go into the concrete. Now, I want to make sure that this isn't going to walk on me. So I'm going to do another, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take the concrete you know, you kind of, when you're at this point, you're thinking, what am I doing? What's happening? Okay, don't worry about it. We're just following what Debbie said. Okay. And, okay, we'll lift this up. And what do you think? Ooh, okay. I've got that. Then we're going to rotate it to be going over some of the red areas, of course. Remove the stencil, rotate again, this time placing the stencil or areas that are inked with red, ink with concrete. Ah, okay. That doesn't seem right, does it? But we're going to do what she said. Well, maybe. says, rotate 90, this time place the stencil over the areas that are inked red. There you go. You hear that voice? That's Jeanette, who's filming and kibbutzing on the side. Okay. Now this is going to go into the background. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Well, one thing about this, it's pretty quick. You know, and the other thing is that if you mess up, it's paper and ink, two not terribly expensive items. And here we go. There you go. Look at that. Very neat. Very neat. So I got mine off a little bit, but you know, I got an extra row of white in there and I'm not unhappy with that. So that is what she's done. So you're off, so she offset that and put it on top of the one that she had already done. Very neat. Okay, and then, so I'm going to put this into my water bath, which is nothing fancy. It's just a piece of, it's just a little pail of, or a pan of water sitting off to the side, because I don't want to get these dried, get anything dried onto my, you know, onto any of my tools. Okay. And at this point, my hands are multicolored, which is fine. And we'll just scoot these. I did want to show you what is on this card. So she has, these are winter bird dazzles. And you can see this wreath with the bird, and that's the piece that's right here. Isn't that nice? Very pretty. And there's a little flourish in the center. That's this piece. And of course, the red jewel dazzles that you always need for Christmas. Can we get in super close to that? There you go. That's a better look. And then the Merry Christmas. Now, these are Christmas greeting dazzles, and they have multiple colors in them. And there you can see Merry Christmas. Gold and black are some of the colors. And yes, you can lay them to go into a circle like this. Very nice. So her first sheet, or the first sheet that we did with the black with silver, that is her card base. She trimmed the edges with the corner rounder. And then she cut this piece, and then a piece of black suede with our 12 circle and scallop dazzles, cutting dies. And you can see that these are a workhorse. These just get used all the time. If you don't have something like this, you'll want to have something like this. So the black suede is just a solid, saturated black. It just looks so good with everything. And you can see how it offsets all these other blacks. Just looks really good. So that is our fourth card, and a great use of these two stencils are basket weave and our gingham, that look nothing like basket weave or gingham, but I think the ladies have shown you just how versatile they are and how you can do wonders with them. It's just really neat, and I think that's the marvel of using stencils. These are in a money saver on the right-hand side of your screen. And just in case you're interested, we do this every single month. As a matter of fact, we have a subscription for it. So what you would get is every month you would get at least 2 stencils, 2 brand new stencils. The cost is $15 per month. and you will get a free goodie. And I would love to tell you what the free goodie is this month, but I can't remember. I think it is, actually, I think it is 5 cards and envelopes, because that's what you are going to kind of need every month. And you get your stencils and your free goodie before the webisode, so you have a chance to play with them. And then the webisode comes and you get 4 ideas, and that's what we have. And I think the marvel of stencils is there's just so much you can do with them, and I think that's really fun. But it's nice to have the tools, and we do carry hunky-dory stamps, excuse me, hunky-dory ink pads, because they are economical, they last a long, long time, and that's really nice. There's no need to pay $8 or $9 per ink pad when these will work perfectly well, and that's nice to have, nice to offer you, and you can see what you can do with them. So that's just super. Okay, that subscription is on the right-hand side of your screen, and this is what we have for October. So if you subscribe, you will get these 2, you will get the free goodie, and that will work nicely for you. Okay, if you have comments, we would love to hear from you. You don't have to buy anything to make a comment. You can just scroll down, down below, and you can leave a comment, and that's just great. And the listing of materials is down below. Just click on any of the cards, and that will take you there. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, same thing. We would love it if you would click on any of the, well, I guess you're not going to click on anything, just leave a message. We'll be answering it. And if you will subscribe to YouTube, that would be good too. Then head on over to Paper Wishes. Same thing. You can leave messages with us too. And I do want to thank Lene and Debbie. Each month they just do a really, really great job of exploring these stencils for us. Okay, and I want to thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.